Greetings. I just had the most amazing tarot experience that I've had in a long time, and I thought I just had to jump on here and share it because I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but what I'm going to talk to you about, but I'll give you a little bit of a introduction as to what I was doing. I had decided to revisit a spread that I had done in December of 2020, nearly a year ago, which was a year end. It was meant for like a year end uh, spread where you compare what were the energies of the year before and what you wanted to carry with you from the year before and what you want to take forward. That we do, typically, a lot of us do at the end of the year. It's not my normal year end of the year spread. I usually do a very big spread where I combine a couple of decks and I pull cards for all of the year coming, the year coming, months of the year coming, etc. But this was a wonderful little spread. I really liked it. I will link to it, to the original video that I did in 2020. I'll add a link below in the description box for you. You might want to watch that first because it's a really fun spread to do. Talk a little bit more about the spread and where I found it. But regardless of that, I decided that it might be a good time of the year to try to evaluate the year we have just come from and the year we're about to go into. Now that several things have happened, we're back pretty much into not normal life, but we're out more than we were definitely a year ago. We were in quarantine a year ago and missed time together with family and friends at the holidays, etc. So that's things are a little changing. They haven't changed, come completely back to normal, but we're starting to get out and about a little bit better and around and be among people a little bit better than we were. And some of the energies and that we had while we were under quarantine are going to be different than what they are now. So I wanted to compare that energy. But I also was thinking, Samhain, just having finished celebrating Samhain, the start of Samhain, we're still in Samhain, which is New Year. That's the when the wheel of the year is supposedly for many witches renews. It's a time. So that's also another reason to do maybe this kind of a spread. So I thought I would get one of my old friends out. I have it here in front of me, the Wildwood Tarot, which is the exact deck that I used for this spread a year ago. And then those of you who have been subscribed to my channel or following some of my other tarot videos know I'm very fond of this deck a lot. Um, and anyway, I did this. I got the deck out and I I've been shuffling this deck. I want to say I've been shuffling this deck as a preface for pretty much I've been shuffling for about 2 days because I hadn't used the deck in a while and I really wanted to make sure my energy was new in it. I had also been I'm trying to recover from an injury. I kind of had a little injury in my thumb and my hand where I wasn't really able to river shuffle for a while. And I'm starting to try to develop strength again to do that. This deck is still relatively stiff. So it's a little hard to do. I have to divide it up many times and do a really, elaborate shuffling process on it to make sure I get um, a really good shuffle. And I'm going to change my camera because I want to show you what happened. Stay tuned. I want to remind you that when I do read decks um, like the Wildwood Tarot, where the author has taken made a great deal of effort into putting um, a spin, so to speak, on the meaning behind each of the cards, rather than it's a little bit of a variation from the traditional meanings. That I really try to take the time and utilize those meanings as much as I can. So this book is really helpful. It's not real explicit, but I do look at what the author has to say about it, and then I compare that to what I think the traditional energies that I have come to know about each of the cards in this series um, mean to me, and take it a lot into consideration. But I really try to give this a priority when I'm doing the reading, because that's actually, I think it's staying true to the intention of the deck. Okay, so I just want to say that, and I want to say after my explanation of um, how much shuffling I did, I want to show you what I got. I have them overlapping here. The cards are a little bit overlapping, so that I can get them all in the camera. But I want to say, I will just tell you first before I move in, and I will hold the cards up a little closer so you can see when we talk about the reading itself. But I just want to say this was my layout when I shuffled and laid it out. This was in order. I'm going to look at the order again. Okay, this is in order how they were dealt. This is number one, card one. I got the Five of Vessels. Card two, Seven of Vessels. Card three, Two of Vessels. Card four, the Shaman. Card five here, Page of Vessels. And card six, Knight of Vessels. I have vessels for every card in this spread except for the Shaman. They're all vessels, which in this deck is the same energy as cups. So, of course, if this happens in a normal shuffle, if I were to put this out, what would my first intention, what would my first impression be from this layout would be that I didn't shuffle very well, did I? Because I have vessels, 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 and the Shaman. But I have to show you, I knew that not to be the case because I had just spent pretty much of 2 days shuffling these cards. So I got my cards, and I have not altered this deck since I did this, just for this purpose of this video. But I want to show you the deck is very well shuffled. Here we have arrows. Here we have the world tree. Here we have, here we have the moon and bows and the sun and the guardian and balance, vessels, bows, stones. See there, it's very well shuffled. Very well shuffled. Stones and vessels and arrows. See, so there's nothing wrong with the shuffle. The shuffle was a well shuffled deck. The resulting cards that I laid out, wham, was vessels. Just wham. Okay, so what does this tell me? This is intentional. I really stood up and paid attention. I said, okay, I'm really going to go through this reading and see what this is trying to say to me. And I really thought I would share this with you because this could happen to you. And if it happens, I would say pay attention. Check back at your deck and see if it's shuffled. And if it is shuffled well, then this is an intentional reading. Okay, so I have just taken a few notes. I'm going to put my book here so I don't forget to say what I want to say about this card. So because there's quite some more that's not gonna work. Let me see here. There we go. There's a little bit more there's a little bit more to this. A little bit more that was quite a coincidence, if you can. I'm going to just go through this rundown and tell you what each card means too as I say it. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just want to show you how amazing this reading came out to be. Card one, and what I like about this reading is, how I like to play opposites. I have this card playing against this one. This is playing against this. This one plays against this one. That's sort of the way I would like to have readings. So I'm not sure if I altered this reading. This was in the intention of the author or first. I can't remember. I can't recall. But anyway, I have this first card is entitled Release. And it is asking the question, what do I need to let go of as I move forward? So this is what energies I'm bringing with the past year. I should be letting go of. And here the Shaman is representing card 4, the fourth one in the shuffle, 1, 2, 3, 4. but it is representing what do I need to bring forth in my life at this time. So these are kind of like, I want to let go of this, but I want to bring forward this. Okay. So that's where I'm going to look first, because I want to show you this is something that was even kind of fascinating to me. In this deck card, this card is the Five of Vessels. It is subtitled Ecstasy. I think you can see that. And it is talking about, we see the figure of a woman dancing, and she's dancing in the middle of a pentagram, um, a pentagram here on the ground, and she's ecstasy. Obviously, she's dancing to the tune of the universal drum. She's surrendering for a time to join that dance. It's a pause. It's a pause, so to speak. Okay. Which is meant to time to renew her energy. She's trying to get in tune, and we've all had these kind of experiences where we want to do this. And oftentimes, the need for this experience is triggered by some kind of it's like a need to access some kind of a more profound comprehension of things, or access a deeper understanding of what was going on. And if we think about the traditional Five of Cups and the Rider-Waite, we know that the Five of Cups usually it's encouraging you to move on. Um, there's been some kind of a loss or something. Um, and but it's talking about there is a warning that goes with the traditional Five of Cups that says, not it reminds you, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in the past. If you get stuck in the past, you won't be able to move forward. Okay? And you won't be able to create any kind of change. And I think when we're talking here, if this is the card that the meaning, remember, we always have to remember what is the question being asked of the card. The question being asked of this card is, what do I need to let go of? It doesn't look like I need to let go of anything, but in retrospect, you think about it. If there's a pause in my life where I'm thinking about old patterns, or thinking about things that have disappointed me, or I'm thinking about all the time thinking, and as a matter of fact, I've just had a very another profound kind of an occurrence in my life where I've come to the realization that people that I have thought about as friends for a really long time, we're really true friends. I don't mean they're not friends. We're not friends, but we're not the kind of friends I think I were. I thought of them as like more family friends, the kind of forever friends. And I find that our friendship had to do more with just our common interests, being interested in a common goal, and I have a common activity or whatever. And I've had that happen to me so many times in my life where I get really tight with people, like I think one time it was church friends. I was in a guitar choir with people, and for years my husband and I spent time with a guitar choir for years and years. And we left the choir. We had to leave the choir because of a conflict in our schedule. And all of a sudden, our friends just dumped us. I mean, we were dead to them as far as they were concerned, because we were just a part of that activity. And to us, it felt like this was our family. We had spent all of our time together, and all of our, just everything, shared celebrations with these people. But anyway, I've had this kind of experience kind of happening to me again. And I was all caught up in this dance of, well, look at that. It's like, here I go again. Here I go again. And that same old pattern, and kind of feeling smug that I really understood it was a pattern, that I need to just figure out that's a pattern, and that's the kind of people I'm being attracted in my life. And not to get too comfortable with some of these relationships that I form with common interests. Okay. So anyway, I thought this was really a very profound card for me. And then I look here over across, what do I need to bring forth in my life? And this is the shaman, which, the shaman corresponds with the magician in the Rider-Waite. And the shaman talks about, always having the tools traditionally, the tools at hand, to make the change that they want to make. But here in this deck, it starts out in the book talking about the shaman, and it talks about how, again, it mentions a dance. Here we have a dance, and that was the first thing that struck me. This card was talking about this dance done here with her the points of the pentagram representing the elements, right? And here we have, they talk about the shaman, and I don't think you can see it in this, in this with this camera, but his robe here has figures, illustrations on the robe. And the first one that you see right here, dead in center, is somebody doing a dance. Somebody doing a dance, and it talks about um, being being connected with the memory of ancestral life, and hearing the dances, hearing the being in connection to the labyrinth of the inner universe and the outer universal mind, and and how the spirit was connected to the ancient minds and the ancient memories. And a lot of that happened through the drum and through the dance. Okay. And here he has the same tools underneath here. It has the same tools. So this is a gateway. It's thought of as a gateway card. Instead of just like using your tools, this is a gateway card that you have a responsibility. It says if this appears, it is a responsibility that you need to apply the magic that you have, the knowledge, the wisdom that you have acquired, the understanding that you have acquired, to share that knowledge and bring insight and understanding of your place in the world and help others find their place in the world at the same time. So instead of being caught up in the dance here and thinking about what's happening with me, perhaps it is, what's happening with others. And it's so funny that this came up because I was just saying I had been really kind of disappointed. I don't want to go into too much of my personal life, but I had been kind of disappointed in, a couple of people that I have been so close with these people for so long. And all of a sudden I can't even, they don't give me the time of day unless I'm going to be attending the events that they're wanting to attend. I don't exist to these people. I mean, it's like I'm not their friend anymore. And it's like I was kind of feeling frustrated about that. And I said, I was even saying to my husband, talking about this pattern in my life that this happens to me all the time. And I said, I'm coming to think about maybe um, this is happening to me over and over again because perhaps, when I think about it, I've always made friends easily with people who seem to need friends. And maybe that's that's maybe my calling, if you want to call it calling, what I'm supposed to be doing. Not worrying about people that can find friends easily, but how about the people that can have difficulty finding friends or somewhere to belong? Or maybe that's maybe I'm not just a crazy cat lady. Maybe I'm also a crazy people lady. Maybe I should be collecting stray people. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't. That's a little bit too much information. But what I wanted to show you was, if this is an intentional spread, look at how these two cards play off of each other. It freaks me out. It's kind of cool. It's so cool. It's just the power of the tarot. When it really works, it works. Okay, now I want to go up to these cards up on the top, how they play off each other. I'll put these underneath so you can see a little better. And here at the top, we have an increase card and a decrease card. That's what they're called. Increase. Number 2 card is what aspect of my life needs more energy now? And then number 3 card is decrease. What aspect of my life needs less energy now? And I see that there's a glare, and I'll try to get rid of that glare for you in a minute. Okay, let's first of all look at what I want to increase. And if I pick it up, I think it's easier. This is the 7 of Vessels. 7 of Vessels, which I'll remind you, 7 of Cups in the Rider-Waite. Okay. Um, and this is entitled Morning, Morning, which we don't normally think of that. We think of the 7 of Vessels, 7 of Cups, and we have so many choices, right, to make. Remember the vision of the all the cups lined up there and all this different stuff, what's in the cups, what is some things we might want, and we might be overwhelmed by choice. But it also warns, typically the Rider-Waite version, the 7 of Cups, um once it sometimes appears if you're prone to illusion or having unrealistic ideas. Remember, some of the illustrated pips, some of those illustrated minors in the 7 of Cups really show some pretty outlandish things in some of those cups. Some of the choices are just things that are not realistic at all. And you're getting, carried away. So it says making sure that your ideas are grounded in reality. So this is the, okay, so but where's the mourning? I want to increase mourning. No, I don't want to increase mourning. What I want to increase is learning the lesson of letting go by offering thank you to the memories and being at peace with the past. But the mourning process begins with the process of recovery after failure of something of significance in our lives, of, failure or passing of something that was significant. So if this group of people is passing away from my life, these friendships, thank them for what they were, relive the precious memories, but don't spend time harboring regret or don't be depressed. Don't let it get to you about these things that you have lost. Oh, I always wanted to go to France, and I don't think I'm going to ever get to go to France after all. That's not realistic. Oh, I'm so depressed. No, you can say, I would have liked to go to France. I didn't get to go to France. Maybe someday I might go to France, but it's just not realistic for me right now. I'm just going to get over it. I'm going to move on for it. I'm just going to be at peace with moving on from it, not feel bad about it. Okay. And this particularly happens to people as they get older because a lot of the things that you wish for when you're younger, all of a sudden you realize, well, now that I'm older, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. That's maybe not realistic. So maybe I have to think of new things to do. The other thing that I thought was interesting about this card coming up of this right now is we have been purging our house and reorganizing our house and the closets and everything else. And one person that I've been kind of watching with a little bit of interest is Marie Kondo. If you have seen the Kondo method of whatever organization, whatever, she's the one that says, the little Japanese girl who says, if it doesn't spark joy, get rid of it, which I really love. But she talks more about, is it going to serve you by, do you want to have that to be a part of your future? Do you want it to carry that with you into the future? When you're willing, are you willing to let go of it and thank it for what it's done for you? But you think you need to carry it with you from this point on. That's how she teaches you what to take with you, what to say goodbye to. And that's a real good lesson here. So this is kind of interesting that this is at this time I'm kind of involved in this actual process. Here's the decrease card. I'm playing against it. I increase this, being able to say goodbye to things in the past. But here I have to decrease attraction. Decrease attraction. Why would I want to decrease attraction? Does that even make sense to anybody? Because an attraction, though, is a thing that the beginning of a relationship, right, with anybody. What at first attracts you to a person in the first place? Maybe a partner, a friend, or a business partner, whatever. What is the attraction? The Two of Cups in the Rider-Waite talks about deep connections and partnerships and shared unconditional love and all that thing. But sometimes, just like what happened to me, the attraction is because you both like, to play in a guitar choir. But if that's the only thing you have in common, you're going to be disappointed when you try to build a meaningful relationship on that. If you meet and fall in love with somebody who from your ukulele group, people who love to play the ukulele, well, that's all well and good. But then you find out when you move in with them and you spend less and less time with the ukulele group, you find out that he or she doesn't have anything else in common with you. That's a disappointment. That's a disappointment. Okay. So I want to be able to decrease the attraction, putting so much value on that first initial attraction that sparks the interest in the first place. To see it just as it is. To see this, well, we have this in common, fill in the blank. And as far as friendships, that we have in common. But we have to realize that that does not mean we're going to have this long lasting, deep connection for all time if that commonality is taken from us. So this is a lesson. Here I am, 69. Am I 69? I don't even know how old I am. That's how old I am. That I'm learning this lesson still at this age. Still at this age. So if I can share that with you, and help you learn it a little quicker. That may maybe save you some time. My final two cards. I'm trying to make this not too long, but I'm so fascinated by it. We have, this is what's interesting, because here I have the Page of Vessels and the Knight of Vessels, which would be the of course the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups. And in this Wildwood, the courts are all represented by animals or creatures, some kind of creatures. Here we have an otter as the Page of Vessels, and here we have an eel as the Knight of Vessels. And I've done videos on this deck in the past, different ways to read these court cards using the elements, reading the elements, etc., some other things, which are helpful, and I still do that. But in this case, I want to really look carefully at what the book is saying about the qualities of these cards, because this is saying what I should give thanks for. The Page of Vessels is telling me I should be giving thanks for, it's going to tell me what I should give thanks for. And this is the otter. And the otter is so treasured in the Celtic world here because thought of to be a special animal, because he's equally at home on the land or in the water. Okay, he has an ability to move between the two worlds. Okay, so it talks about what is to celebrate about that is your ability to weave a spell both as a dreamer and visionary, but also with a good understanding of the other world, but also being able to use your trust, your intuition, and being able to adapt and use your intuition in this world as well, to be able to take the lessons learned and the knowledge, that intuition, that kind of knowledge, and put it to practical use. Okay, the and even the Page of Cups talks about using the trusting your intuition and watching for messages. Okay, looking for messages. And what is really being asked me? What is that message being asked? And that's the same kind of thing here. What is the message that I'm getting here? What should I be doing from this point forward? Okay, so this ability to understand a message is important, but it's also the ability to listen to the message. You know, yes, I can get all these thoughts and feelings, but what do I do with them once I have them? Okay, I should be being very thankful that I have the ability to get these messages in the first place, and to get and be thankful to be, you know, rather than a lot of people who are empathic, particularly, you know, sometimes we have a tendency to suffer, almost regret having those things, because sometimes it makes it hard to get along with other people because we know too much. We know too much of their secrets. But no, he's about, yes, understanding that we know that, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You know, you be thankful that you can do that, because now you're given the gift to be able to do something about it. And that's actually what the eel says. Because the eel, as the knight, is, you can see he's really on a mission. He talks about his mission. And it does say that in Irish myth, it talks about the eel, and it talks about in Irish myth, the eel is, the stories were that the eel could be turned into a weapon when wielded by a warrior who was able to protect. They could pick up that eel and use it. So this is about the mission that all knights are on. A mission. They're on a mission. That's how it describes it, which I thought was interesting. And you're led by your heart. You're led by your heart, and you want to see peace for everybody involved. You want to, you know, with this knowledge, you want people. You want to be able to help people with this. Okay, and that's what happens when you're intuitive a little bit, and you have an empathic. That you kind of sometimes you give people to advise you freely, perhaps, and they don't know where that's coming from. So you have to be cautious about that. But at the same time, you just be knowledgeable in the fact that you are basing your decisions or your ideas or what you think the plan should be on how you feel about something, and it doesn't sometimes gel with what other people feel or what other people think, and it's really not what you think. It's just this feeling that you have that you need to do it. Okay, so it's okay to use those feelings, but just be a little sensitive how you use them. Be a little bit sensitive, because remembering that not everybody has your ability. Okay. So anyway, that's better. I always like to see your face. I know I'm now your face is really my face, but I like to imagine it is your face. I don't. Anyway, I just thought this was fun. You can do this kind of a reading, of course, with any deck, but I think we have a tendency sometimes to do readings and then always try a different reading or whatever, or we get stuck on the same kind of reading. And when I find a reading like this was one, like I said, I did for you. Um, I came across it when I was going through my old journal to make sure I got everything I needed to carry forth. And I realized, well, that might be fun to try again. It might be fun to try it again. So I did. And was that amazing or what? Maybe that happens. Excuse me. Maybe that happens to you all the time. It doesn't happen to me all the time. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you again. For now, I'm Rebecca, and I wish you blessings.